Yes, you can get your bachelor's degree or really any other degree before you turn 21 completely debt free. This is how I did it. As a quick disclaimer before I start, I still have one more semester left before I graduate, but I will walk and get my degree before I turn 21. Let me tell you how I did it, and maybe it'll help encourage someone set a mindset or a goal for themselves. Let's start way back. Middle school. For perspective, I was 12 years old at this point. That time in school when everyone begins to hit puberty and is overall a mess for most of us. I was a below average CD student, the kind of student that only got an A in PE. I didn't like school. In fact, I hated it. I hated it because I had the mindset, why try in something when your grades don't really matter or do anything for you in the future? I did so bad that at one point, my 8th grade history teacher and my Spanish teacher were telling my mom and the school that I had a learning disability. It turned out I just didn't know how to read. Apparently, my elementary school didn't really do a great job at that. Eventually, my reading did improve, and this is where my high school journey begins, and also where everything changed. In high school, I'm now 15. I wasn't ever really a well known kid. I had a small group of friends that I would go home and play Xbox with every day. I never really went to sport games. I never did Spirit Week. I didn't join any clubs. I was that kind of kid. All the classes I took were the average low level classes a typical student would take: Algebra 1 in ninth grade and your normal English classes. I didn't even know what an AP class was. During sophomore year, I had an amazing opportunity open up. My school had just recently begun doing this program called the Early College Program, or we called it ECP for short. How they had it set up was your junior and senior year of high school, you'd be enrolled full time at a local community college, and the classes you took counted towards credits in both your associate's degree and your high school diploma. That was my golden ticket. Even better, everything was paid for by the school. The only problem was, it was incredibly difficult to get accepted, as only 30 students that applied got accepted. I thought for sure I wouldn't be accepted, but my mom kept pushing me to apply for it. Her philosophy was, it's better to apply and be rejected than it is to not apply and only assume you couldn't do it. So I took her advice. I applied, and by what I can only describe as a miracle, I was accepted. Keep in mind that I barely had a 3.0 GPA at this point. Nothing great, but it wasn't anything too terrible either. This only allowed me to get ahead of everyone else, even the smartest kids in my school. By the time I graduated, I had 62 college credits, an associate's degree, and my high school diploma, which I was able to do all at the same time. That's the biggest thing I've learned in the ungodly amount of years I've spent in school. The more you can compound and crunch in, the better you are off in the future. Now it was time for college. I started when I was 18 years old. The beast, the scariest and the best years of your life. At first, I didn't think all the talk was true, but after experiencing it firsthand, I fell in love with college. I started freshman year as any normal freshman would. I took the intro classes that I needed to and continued the math grind. The difference between my peers and myself was I had already completed my fluff classes, that I like to call them, because they're basically the classes that make up the other half of the required credits that you need to graduate. Which means I was immediately able to start grinding on my major specific classes. The major I chose, though, was atmospheric sciences with an emphasis in broadcast, or in normal people terms, a TV weatherman. This is where having a plan came into play. I wrote down all of the classes that I needed to take, and I tried to figure out what the shortest time span was that I could realistically complete all of my classes in. I found out that I could graduate a year early if I took all of my classes in this specific order because of all the credits that I transferred in with, ultimately allowing me to graduate with my bachelor's before I turned 21. The only way I was able to complete college without any debt was because of the financial aid I got, some small investments that I made back when I was 17 years old, and 2 smaller scholarships that I received from the school that I was a part of at my university. I told myself that if I did college, I would have to do it completely debt-free or it wouldn't be worth it. And that's exactly what I did. If there was one thing that I would want everyone to take away from this story, it would be to have a plan. Stick to that plan and figure out how you can only improve that plan. Never underestimate yourself. Everything is possible. You just have to find a way to do it. And that's the fun part. Thank you for listening to my story. Hopefully, it encouraged at least one person to change in action or change up their plan. If you'd really like to, you could subscribe and see what other random videos I make, as I still have no idea what kind of content I want to make yet. I'll see you guys in the future. Love you. Bye.